guys, welcome to the second part in our video series called Building a Better Audit. Today, we're going to talk about physical configuration audits. A physical configuration audit says that you are ready to build a lot of the item that you have designed. In other words, you're ready to start your production program. Now, before you start your physical configuration audit, it's really important to make sure that your functional configuration audit is complete. Because the functional configuration audit says that the item that you designed does everything that it's supposed to do. It doesn't do a whole lot of good to build a lot of an item that doesn't work. So make sure that you put that practice into place. Now, a lot of times they're back-to-back audits. So you'll complete your functional configuration audit and then move right into your physical configuration audit. That's totally okay. You can do them within a week's period of time. Just make sure that you're ready to go on your physical configuration audit. Now, a physical configuration audit is really broken into two pieces practically. The first piece is more of a process audit. It is looking for processes that support full rate production. You're really looking for 4 different things. Now, the first thing that you're going to go look for is a configuration control process. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about what a configuration control process is because that's a whole other video in itself. But you're going to look for a change process to make changes to engineering documentation, your drawings, so on and so forth. You're going to make sure that you have a change board in place. You're going to make sure that you have change classification criteria and that's up and practicing and ready to go. You're also going to make sure that you've got something that's called a variance process. That is part of your change process. That means that if something doesn't do everything that it's supposed to do, or if you nicked it or dinged it or whatever, you have a way to document the fact that this product is a little bit different than its engineering documentation. So make sure that you have all of those things in place as part of your configuration control process. The second piece of information that you're looking for is whether you have a really robust engineering release system. Do you have a release group that ensures that the engineering drawing that you're going to release meets drawing standards? Do they ensure that you have the authority to release the drawing? If you're making a change to a baseline drawing, was there an approved change request that allows you to move forward? Make sure that your engineering release group has got processes in place to check all of those things. The third piece of information that you're going to look for is whether the guys out on the shop floor have got work instructions to follow when building the product. Are they getting the latest engineering drawing? If you make a change to the drawing, do they have the latest drawing to work to? Are they trained to build the product and do all the stuff that you're asking them to do? Do you have the right staffing? Or do you just have like a couple of guys out there and hope that it works out? You're going to check for all of these things. The fourth thing that you're going to look for is sub-tier supplier control. This is huge, y'all, and most people really neglect this area because configuration managers say, well, okay, my procurement department controls my suppliers. Okay, well, your procurement department typically does not have configuration management requirements in mind whenever they're dealing with their suppliers. So it's really important that you guys engage with them because this is an area that can absolutely take your production line down, I promise you. So what you're going to do is make sure that each purchase order with your sub-tier suppliers has got configuration management requirements on it. Now, if you have a supplier that's designing and building product to send to you that you incorporate into your product, it's really important that you have got change control requirements on their purchase order. If they make a change to their product, you need to know about it because their change could end up impacting you. They need to ask you permission in a lot of cases whether they can actually make the change or not. The second thing that you're going to look for is what we talked about with discrepant product. They need a variance process in place. If they drop something on the floor and they ding it, is it something that you can still use? They need to ask you, hey, can I send this dinged product to you? Will it still meet your requirements? Can we do it this way? That's another thing that you need to look for. There are some other configuration management requirements you'd want to make sure you have in place, but those are absolutely the minimum requirements that you need. Okay, now the second piece of the audit that you're going to do is actually a physical comparison between your product and its engineering documentation. Now, in the old days, The configuration management group used to take things apart, get out a tape measure, and say, okay, the drawing says this should be 13 inches long. Yes, it is 13 inches long. Okay, check, move on. Now, thankfully, the quality organizations in the United States have done this for us in a process called first article inspection. They're the ones doing all the measuring and ensuring that the item meets its drawing requirements. And they're keeping really robust records of how all this goes down. There's an industry standard called AS 9102 that tells them how to do this. There are actually 3 forms that they complete in the process, and there are literally books and books and books that these guys keep recording all this information. You are going to use what the quality organization does in this area as part of your physical configuration audit. Before you start your physical configuration audit, you're going to make sure that first article inspection is complete, just to make sure that you don't run into any surprises, okay? So you're going to invite your quality department to your physical configuration audit. They're going to bring their books with you, and you're going to do some sampling on some items that don't require any tear down. So you can check the overall envelope. You can say, okay, it's supposed to be 14 inches. The first article inspection says it's 14 inches. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick double check. You're just going to do some sampling. The idea is not to redo everything that the quality department did. You're just doing some spot checks. Okay, the second thing that you're going to do is check your as designed record versus your as built record. Okay, because sometimes you're going to run into some differences. You may need a substitute part or whatever. You're also going to do some little spot checks in that area. Whenever they do an as-built record, you're going to have some serialized parts. They're going to say, okay, this certain part we installed and it has serial number 123. If it's something that's installed on the outside of the part, you're going to take a little flashlight or whatever, or just flip the part over, and you're going to ensure that serial number 123 of this part is actually installed. Once again, it's a spot check. You're not trying to redo everything. It's just an audit to make sure that everything is in place the way that it should be. Okay, the third thing that you're going to do is make sure that the acceptance test procedure has been approved. Okay, this is really important. Are you ready to test the product? Does the test make sure that it does everything that it's supposed to do before it leaves your shop? Okay, make sure that that's approved and under control in your engineering release system. Okay, that's about all, y'all. Once you've done all of these steps, you're going to record the results of this, and you're going to fill out a certification sheet and keep that in your engineering release system to ensure that everybody knows that your product has now been baselined and has completed a physical configuration audit. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you guys want to continue to receive information like this, hop on over to LinkedIn. Follow us there. I'll be continuing to post all of our video series and all of our blogs over on LinkedIn, and you guys can stay up to date. Thanks so much. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.